You know, I'm gonna get on.
Come on, Marcel.
See, that's a very good. Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
I walked around. I didn't hear anybody come in.
Is here. Hey, Cliff.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Cliff. Hi, Matt.
Hello. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah, I think that's what it says. Hey, Vinny.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I think we have everybody still. All right, good. All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Dayton Board of Health special meeting. It's Thursday, February 27th, 2025. We're in person at the Old Town Hall and available via Zoom. The meeting is being recorded and can be viewed at a later date on the Town of Dayton YouTube channel. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 12 o'clock. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to start with member introductions. Vinny, do you want to go first?
Yes, Vincent Hebert, Board of Health member.
And I'm Tammy Mello. I'm the Board of Health clerk, and in the absence of Mrs. Batavia, I'm going to be the interim chair. All right, so I guess we'll start with number 4, old business. Item 4A is the budget review. So this morning at 11, Vinny, we met with Serena. Liz and I met with Serena and Ralph and just went over the preliminary budget. So we have another budget finance committee meeting scheduled on March the 18th, 2025 at 7 o'clock.
Okay,
So it's going to be going into phase 2 of the budget. So we'll keep everybody in the loop there. So as far as moving on the calendar to new business.
oh, Tam, can I make one comment on like the budget?
Oh, sure.
You know what I was saying, there was 15% savings. It was the Board of Health that, was 15% savings. And then personal expenses was 15% savings. The waste collection and disposal was 2% higher, from 2024 to 2025.
Okay, great.
So was everything good with the budget as far as?
Everything looked good.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
no, that's,
What
I
we
wanted
went
to clarify.
everything line by line, so.
Good. No, it
Exactly what
looked
you
fine. I
had.
said like, yeah, that was that 15% savings on the bottom half on the Board of Health item. So, okay, perfect.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to move right into the workshop topics, new member introductions. Cliff, do you want to start by introducing yourself? So nice to meet you.
Hi, good afternoon to you all. Nice to meet you. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to do this in person.
Oh, that's okay. That's why we have Zoom.
Awesome. My name is Clifford Pierre, and I am the current regional health inspector through the Northern Bristol County Public Health Alliance, which includes DINE. Yeah, so I will be filling in and taking over everything that needs to be done as the board and the health agents they see fit. Um, I am I can do food inspection, housing inspection, and respond to any nuisance. Um, and yeah, that
Awesome. We're so happy that you're here.
thank you.
Matt, would you like to go next?
Sure. Matt Tanis. I've been on the board and the backup inspector for a number of years for Dayton. And was the temporary since last June and now the permanent. So I know Cliff and I have had a discussion a couple weeks ago, which was good. And I've been in local public health full-time job and career for I don't know, 17 or 18 years now. So hopefully can be a help of and wealth of knowledge for the department and the board.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move into best practices. And Matt, I'm gonna let you run with this. I'm gonna let you make some suggestions on, you know, and how this can work now that we have you in the position.
Okay, so I'm not, obviously I've been doing this with Dayton and working with Liz now since last early June, end of May. We have a relatively good system that's been working for us. And generally when there's an inspection needs to be done, perk test, complaint, whatever it may be, you know, it should all go through the office first, and it should go through Liz first, if nothing else, for tracking purposes and ensuring that nothing gets lost. You know, if someone were to reach out directly to me, the office doesn't know what's going on. The board may not know what's going on. Next thing you know, someone's calling the office wondering what's going on, and Liz doesn't know, the board doesn't know. So really, everything should go through the office and through Liz first. Especially having Cliff now, you know, if there's something in the middle of the week that Cliff is able to handle, especially with food or housing, you know, I think Liz certainly can handle making sure the right person gets the right inspection or complaint. Perk tests, generally, Liz will let me know that there's a perk test that needs to be scheduled. I'll give her a couple dates and she reaches back out to the engineer and we get it scheduled. I don't think there's really too much of a issue with getting that handled that I'm aware of. So as far as getting complaints and getting inspections and things like that done, usually once an inspection's done, you know, because it's by the time I get out there, it's either early in the morning, late afternoon, or evening, or on the, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just shoot Liz a text and just let her know it's all set. One, again, for tracking purposes, and two, if for any reason the installer's not on site, you know, they'll reach out to her and she'll just let them know that inspection's done and either they can proceed or they have to do some more work. So I don't think that there's been any issues on that end with the way that Liz and I have handled it. Certainly if she thinks otherwise, that's fine. You can speak up, but I really everything should be going through the office first, not directly to like myself or to Cliff and like that. Just that way everybody's on the same page, everybody's aware. And there's some tracking and accountability for things as they come in. I think as far as, I think there's been some back and forth and changes, periodic changes between specifically conservation and getting sign-offs for perk tests and septic plans. It seems like things are being held up because of this, which is concerning. I don't have a problem with conservation signing off, but for perk tests, but I think that there's no reason it shouldn't take more than a day or two to get that sign off. I've done conservation as well, and perk tests generally, I don't want to say are 100% exempt from conservation purposes, but no engineer is going to file a notice of intent for a perk test, especially when it's a repair. There's something already existing that's in failure. It just needs to get done and replaced. Really, it should be a matter of, this is where the engineer is looking to do the perk test, and on the lot, are they within conservation land? Yes or no? I don't see why it should be taking any considerable amount of time. It should be a 10-minute review really, and a yes or no. As far as plans go, if we get them in, I think I'd had this conversation a couple weeks ago with the conservation agent that, in my plan review, if there's wetlands and it's, certainly the system that's being repaired or replaced or installed is within, or could potentially be within the buffer, I would kick it to conservation first to make sure they were set. If not, then, just proceed with normal plan review. That's the way I've done it all my years, and that's never been an issue. So I think that's seems to be the biggest sticky point lately. I think there was 2 perks that have been waiting to be scheduled that have been sitting waiting for conservation sign off, and it's just especially on repairs that becomes a problem. People get this.
How long, Matt? How long a time frame have those two been in process?
728 Hart Street came in December.
December?
Yeah, and then the other one, it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I think we have line items a little bit further down where we're going to review those. But that's not going to happen any longer. We're going to have to streamline that, Tammy, right? We'll
Absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
I didn't realize it was December, that's really.
I've said this more than a few times, that anything like, perk test, septic test, anything like that, or inspection, the more it gets delayed, it costs the town money. If that's getting delayed, then the housing isn't being built, taxes aren't coming in, it just delays the whole process. And if Matt he's more of an expert than I am. And if he's telling me it's a 10-minute or a 1-day review, then anything longer than that, we're going to want answers as to why that's going to be. But again, I think we're going to review that a little bit further down. I think it's item F where we look at those, but yeah, that can't happen any longer. That's got to stop.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vinny, on that one. So we'll definitely talk more about that as we move on through the agenda.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to the office manager process with Liz. She's going to let us know exactly how she runs the office.
So as Matt said, we've been, pretty much streamlining it since June. It's fairly simple. Something comes in, I reach out to Matt, I get a few dates, see when he's available, schedule it, whether it's an inspection, a perk, if the Title V review comes in. It's been pretty simple. We just communicate via text, schedule things and plan accordingly. The only thing I started doing recently that I don't know if it's easier for Matt is I'll do like a calendar invite for Friday, and I'll put a list of all of the things that came in that week. And then when he comes in, when he's available, he grabs a stack of folders I left out for him, and last week he checked off everything he did, left me a note of the one he took with him, and to me it's simple. It's been working. Everything should definitely come through the office because I have to do intake reports. I'll have to do, notifications. If it's something that I need to get Matt involved or the board involved. So, yeah, there was a few things that I heard and I didn't have any notifications of it. So I can't help if I don't know what's going on.
Is all that working for you, Liz? Makes it easier for you?
It's easier for me, yeah, to just have everything, and I can coordinate with Matt's schedule versus, and I'm pretty sure it would be easier for Matt to just have to get text messages from one person. You know what I mean? If he's getting texts from me and somebody else and the conservation and, you know, he's got a full-time job. I try not to bother him during the day. You know, if email is less disruptive, I can do email, but I try not to interrupt him unless it's an emergency.
I agree. I don't know how Tammy feels, but there should be a single point of contact. You know,
Yes.
and that should be you. There should not be anyone else. You know, if you need to get in touch with if Matt needs, say conservation or anyone else needs to get in touch with Matt, they should go through you and then you contact him. Right? I totally agree. It should be a single point contact, nothing more and nothing more than that. No one else should be contacting Matt but you, Liz. That's my opinion.
I agree with you, Vinny, on that one. It just makes it too confusing.
Right.
There should only be one person, you know, communicating with him, unless in the event of an emergency.
Right.
Otherwise, it should all go through the office, as Liz said, so everything can be recorded properly.
Correct. You know, all the recording, and I don't know if these also go up on the website, if there's transparency in any of these as well. But that's the other part of it, is that, you know, in order to be transparent, you know, and above board and everyone is in the know, it should be through Liz, because now Liz will tell us, okay, here's what's happening. I contacted Matt, here, it was a perk test, it was a septic, a complaint, whatever it happens to be, but it goes through Liz. So I'm totally on board about that.
Same, I agree. Anything?
Through the chair, just for clarity, so in reporting to the board members, can you kind of just spell it out? So Liz, as I understand, Liz will contact Matt, and if both Liz and Matt determine that it should rise to the level of the board members, she just reaches out as an information to the board members. Is that
Correct.
is that
Yes.
correct? Is everybody
Yes.
okay with that?
Yes, because I mean, obviously, we don't, as long as we know in general what's going on, we don't need to know the nuances. I mean, that's Matt's job, you know, that's what Matt does. And coordinating with Liz. But if we know is like you just said, there's a perk test that's being held up there, there's a septic inspection that needs to be done, that's fine. You know, that's really all we need to know. And then Liz works it out with Matt. You know,
Absolutely.
all of the minutia.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have anything you want to add in? Did we miss anything?
No, I think that was it. It's just if, you know, just like you said, to be transparent, it needs to all be recorded. And if it's not recorded, then, you know.
Yep. And that's again, that's part of the reason for you being the focal point, Liz, because now you record everything. You can share that with the board members and anyone else. I mean, it's public knowledge, but with us. And like I said, this process doesn't have to be complex. It's been working. Don't break it. Just make sure that it's done that way, and don't let any other complexities, get it into the process. Keep the process simple. Keep it the way that it is. And I totally agree with what you were saying. So.
Yeah, and I think that this comment rolls into board member notifications, but previously in the past at the Board of Health meeting, the health agent would do a report, the nurse would do a report, and at that point we had building official doing his report. So on a monthly basis, we're gonna report to you on what's happened, like any applications that came in for certificates or installers licenses. It all gets reported monthly, but in the case of an emergency, it's, obviously it's right away. But the information will get to the board at some point.
Yeah,
Which is
that's all.
fine. Like you said, Vinny, we don't need step-by-step of what you did in a given day.
Right.
Unless there's an emergency and you really need to talk to us that day, we're fine with that. But it seems to be working, so let's continue. And
Yeah,
let Liz do her job.
Exactly.
I will say, in all my years, and I've had good boards, I've had bad boards, I've been in between boards. And no disrespect to any board or board member, but the town hires the full-time employees with the knowledge that they are to do, the job day to day, that they are, the professionals and the experienced ones in the matter. And the boards that I've worked for that have tried to want to know every last detail down to I sharpened my pencil 4 times today becomes very burdensome and a complete waste of time for everybody.
Absolutely.
It accomplishes absolutely nothing. So, ultimately, in a meeting, we can give a synopsis of what's gone on. Obviously, if there's something that would be an issue that the board needs to be aware of right away, you'd be notified right away. So,
So, here's all we need is a Reader's Digest, and it could be something as simple as, there was an inspection, a septic inspection that was done on Maple Street, and I went inspected it. I looked it over, and the inspection passed. That's it. I mean, to me, that's I don't need to know the nuances. That's not why why we're here. And then, like you said, it's a total waste of time to give us step by step, minor details of what you're doing. I mean, we don't need to know that.
Absolutely. We consider you the expert, Matt and Cliff, so.
Yep.
We welcome your feedback, your input, so we're not gonna hover over you. So, okay, let's move on. So, that takes us to the agent availability. Matt, you're on the hot seat again, sorry. If he's there, Matt, did we scare you away?
No, he's muted.
There he is.
sorry, my connection went and everything froze. So I missed the last 30
I
seconds.
thought we scared you.
No.
So agent availability, so you tell us.
So for the most part, I'm available Friday, Saturday, Sunday, earlier in the morning and later in the afternoon or evenings. Tuesdays are very difficult because it's my late night at my regular job anyway. So Tuesdays are tough. Certainly if some emergency comes up, I can make it work. I get time off I can use if absolutely need be. So that's generally, certainly anybody, as Liz knows, and Tim, you can shoot me a text message if you need to talk. And I'll give you a call. But that's about it. I think it'll be very beneficial to, now that we have Cliff, because he'll be around Monday through Thursday. Obviously I know he's with other towns too, but have that availability for, especially for housing and food related inspections, will be good.
Okay, perfect.
On that note, his late day is Tuesday, and our meetings are always on a Tuesday. So at some point, you might want to reconsider switching our days so Matt can attend our meetings.
It would be fine. Vinny?
I can do them via Zoom, obviously if it's Tuesdays, but I definitely could not be there in person. So that's the only.
We can reconsider. I mean, I don't think it's not set in stone. Yeah, I don't think it's a real deal breaker that we have to meet on a Tuesday. So
No, we can.
we want to make sure it's accommodating for everybody.
Yeah, the only day I couldn't do it would be a Thursday. That's date night, and I'm not suicidal, so that's.
It's pickleball.
Yeah, we can definitely work around that.
Yeah, I mean, and the other part of that too is if Matt doesn't have anything, then we can keep the Tuesday. But if he does have something or something comes up, and we'll know that through Liz,
Right.
then we just schedule another day or another time that suits Matt. I mean, I'm totally flexible except for Thursday.
For Thursdays. All right, so that takes us to goals and expectations. I don't know if anyone has anything there. Vinny?
I mean, I mean, I think our, what we've been doing here, like on the board, is, as we're moving forward, I mean, I think some of the goals that we should set would be also not just for the board, but for the town. So like I said, streamlining perk tests, streamlining septic inspections. I think those should be, do we need to give a time frame? Do we need to say, it's been submitted to the Conservation Committee, you have 3 days to reply? Something like that. I mean, I don't want to be, I don't want to be hard, but at the same time, like I said, it goes back to any delay is a delay of revenue for the town. And having something hanging around there since December is absolutely unacceptable. So do we want to set some types of goals and expectations, not just for the board, but for, streamlining the process, streamlining the inspections. I mean, other than that, I think we do, we look at the budget, we looked at the trash bag situation, took care of that. I mean, other than that, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I don't know, Tam, what you think or what Liz thinks.
I can't think of anything else. I think that pretty much, like you said, we covered it.
Yeah. I mean, like, so we work, we work for the town, and we have to do what's best, for the town. That's really the expectation.
Absolutely, I agree.
Whatever is best, for the town. But maybe that we could set that as some type of a goal, is like to, set a process, like, okay, this is okay if this has to go to
Conservation.
thank you. Or it has to go for a inspection to the building department, that you should have 3 days to review it and send it back. If Matt's saying that it's a 10-minute process to get an approval, well, you certainly don't need it for 3 months, right? So, right.
I think that the delay is sometimes these applicants have to come before Concom, and they meet once a month. So now you're looking at, they have to wait until the next conservation meeting, and then they have to get, wetlands flagged, and there's just so many things that can delay the process.
But why, if like Matt's saying, it's just like, it's a 10-minute process. Why would you have to go in front of the Conservation Committee? Why would you have to go, to anyone else?
I think so. Perks under no circumstance would be done in the wetlands anyway. So, I mean, perks should not be going to the board, and they should not be taking 2 months to review. That's absolute insanity. If a plan were to come in and a septic was within the buffer zone, you got to file notice of intent that has to go to the Conservation Commission to a meeting. I fully understand that sometimes, yes, things do have to go to boards and committees for approvals and votes and review. I don't see why there would be any reason why the respective employee who would be doing the sign-offs can't just send a memo back and saying it's been reviewed. This is, has to go to the board or the commission for further approval or notice of intent or whatever it may be. Well, it'll be planned to have on the meeting for X, Y, and Z date. That way we're not just sitting here in limbo wondering, why is this taking 2 months to have a sign-off? And that's insane.
Yeah,
and not fair to the homeowners. It's not fair to us, as another department. So if it takes longer, great, because of issues with, having to schedule meetings, but just send a memo or a notice back and saying, hey, this is why it's going to take longer.
right. Communication for one thing, but just look at like what we're doing here right now, and this isn't our regular meeting. You know, this is a special meeting, and Tammy and I can both attest that there's been things that have come up where Liz is like, hey, we need to get signatures on some permits, and we go down and we look them over and we sign them off. You know, so I mean, that's, if it's that simple, then, you know, if you have to have, you know, a meeting in order to do that, then state that and state your reasons why. Other than that, sign it and send it back. You know, like I said, that's what we do. I mean, you know, we're not gonna say, oh, we're not gonna do this until the next Board of Health meeting on you know, every third Tuesday. We'll do it as we see fit, and we'll and as necessary. And like I said, Tam and I both do the same thing. Liz calls us, says, hey, I've got some permits. We go down and we sign them. That's kind of what you signed up for. You know, it's not a you know, every third Tuesday, you know, type of a position. That's not it. You know, if there's an emergency, you have to be ready and you have to be on call. Tammy and I can both tell you is that we've gotten calls all the time. So, you know, to me, having to wait until, you know, a committee meeting is ludicrous. If it's a 10-minute process, then take the 10 minutes and do it. I mean, would you agree, Matt?
Oh, 100%. I do know, you know, there's a few circumstances, you know, with conservation that does have to go to a meeting. You know,
And that's fine, as long as we're in the know, and as long as we're in the know and you're in the know, you know, that is the case.
right,
But also that it's going to be resolved. You
right.
know,
That's
again, I keep going down to, like, there's no reason to delay these things. You're taking money and revenue away from the town. The longer you delay it.
right. And I look at septic repairs. A lot of times they're tied to house sales and things like that. If they wind up getting tied up for 2-3 months, that becomes a huge problem.
Right.
It
And
is a huge problem. So why don't we do this? Why don't we navigate right to section F for resolution of outstanding complaints, perk test, septic inspections? Why don't we just move right into that category there and start talking about how we can fix this? And then we can go back to emergency protocols, if you're okay with that, since we're on the topic. It just seems easier
Sure.
to go into. So what are your thoughts, Matt?
Yes. I know we got one of those perks somewhat squared away, and we'll be scheduling it. I know there's one outstanding septic plan that's been kicked around. I'll have to look at that and see why this has been going on. And I'm not sure if there's anything else. I don't know, Liz, you know, other ones that are outstanding and problematic.
What, William Street?
That's the one.
That's the one you're talking about now, William
Yeah.
Street?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one's a nightmare. So we
And
have
that's a repair.
technically two that are pending. We have William Street and the 728 Hart Street. So let's just start with the 728 Hart Street.
That one got approved yesterday.
Oh, it got approved? Okay. But it took from December to yesterday. All right.
Which I think that one is a new build.
Okay.
So in the past, it was new builds and do conservation,
Okay.
repairs didn't.
Okay. So we recently changed the way we do the repairs. Vinnie, you were not here at that meeting. It was just Barbara and I. I think we need to revisit that situation. And I think it needs to be reversed, in my opinion. Vinnie, what do you think?
So-
To me, it's just causing people to wait longer, and it's just taken way too long.
this is for repairs, you said?
Right. This is when we change the way we operate with the repairs, where it goes to conservation and Lisa examines everything and then it comes back. So it sounds
No.
like what Matt's saying is it's unnecessary. So Matt, can you Can you give us a little more information on that?
Never. Yeah, I've worked for many towns and I've never heard of a septic plan, especially repair, going to conservation first. The engineers know what they're doing and they know right out the gate when they go to do perk tests, whether they're gonna have to go to conservation or not for notice of intents. So sometimes these are conversations that usually I would be having with the engineer out in the field doing the perks, like, hey, you know what? We are gonna be within the buffer. You know, it's gonna have to go to conservation. I'll do a preliminary review of the septic plan when it comes in. Obviously, things can change once it goes to conservation. They may require some changes, things like that. But again, it would only be if it was within, you know, the buffer zone, which the engineers will do anything and everything possible to keep it out. Like I said, I've never heard of septic plans going to conservation for review before it goes to the Board of Health. And unless it was a known, you know, if you're sitting right on the Taunton River and it's a known situation where it's going to have to go to conservation, maybe under that circumstance it would, but it's generic septic plan, you know, for a repair that doesn't really involve conservation land or wetlands. Why that would go to conservation first is very bizarre to me. You know, I do my review, and if there's an issue that would relate to conservation, just no different than if it would relate to, say, the water department. You know, hey, I'm looking at the plan and, you know, we're within, you know, we're 9 feet, not 10 feet from a water line. Now, you know, we have to involve the water department, kind of a thing. You know, I would do the same to conservation. Hey, you know what, this looks like it's really close to the wetlands buffer. I'm going to have conservation take a look at it too. You know, we have an obligation as the Board of Health to make sure that when we review the septic plans, that if there is any other department or agency that could possibly wind up having stake in the project, that they're notified as well. But you know, usually that would be during my review that I would wind up seeing that and flagging it. So there's no reason why things should be getting held up the way they are.
Well, then I think that that's the answer. So we can put as part of the process in place is that anything, you know, any septic test or inspection or whatever, you know, has to be, will only go to the Conservation Committee if it is recommended to do so. Other than that, don't send it.
There's no
I think it's
reason.
it's that simple.
That's the way most places usually work.
Yeah. I mean, you don't go to the solid waste, you know, committee because you have to throw out a trash bag. I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe we put that in as part of the process.
Okay.
Only if recommended, it will go to any other department. We don't even have to say conservation. We can just say it will only be forwarded to the appropriate department upon recommendation by, you know, the inspector or,
Right.
you know, a building committee or whatever it happens to be.
I mean, you're right. It could be any department. I mean, I deal with, you know, some systems that are put on slopes and they have to have retaining walls. You know, once you go over 4 feet, you have to be a structural engineer, you need building permits. You know, it could wind up getting kicked to the building department. I would expect the same out of Jim, you know, as anyone else. So yeah, it's not just conservation. I mean, that's obviously just been the current issue with, you know, the two outstanding, you know, the perk and the repair. But, you know, it's any department really. And I would expect the same timely review and whatnot that I would give in return. So
Yeah, so let's just make it that. Just make it generic as like you know, septic inspections, you know, or not to go to any other department or committee unless recommended by the health agent or who was the other one you said? Is it building that would look these over, or the engineers?
No, it would just be the health department. You know,
Okay.
Sometimes there could be something that wound up having to go to the building department, same as conservation for review. But, you know, I would flag that in my review of the plan.
Okay. So I would just suggest him, and Liz that that's what we do moving forward.
So basically go back to the way we did things.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, no,
Cliff, I don't want to leave you out. Do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Hi. Yes, I was just thinking about what Matt was saying regarding how these things flow. I think he's right. There's a hierarchy of how everything should flow. But as far as I've never heard this that things like this get tied in conservation before. I think I from my experience, the health agent or the health department would normally go to any other department for anything that pertains to them. Like for example, like when I do a housing inspection, if there is no smoke detectors, so my job is to go to the fire department after that inspection. Even the fire department would call us to do certain things that they do not have jurisdiction of, and they would call the health department first to do that before we can even call them. So there's a way that things flow, and um, hearing him saying that, I can understand how difficult this could be for a health agent.
thank you.
All right, so now we,
I think it goes back to like the workflow. It comes into the office, it goes to Matt dictates where it goes, and it just,
but not only that, I'm just thinking how we have to reverse basically what we voted on. So is this something that Vinny and I can just vote on or bring it up, or does it have to go on
It has to go at the next
The
meeting.
next
They only
meeting.
vote on topics that,
the, okay,
on topics that are presented on the agenda.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Vinny, we'll put it on the next agenda
Yeah, so-
and take a vote on it
okay,
from there. So it was a good discussion. At least now we know where the health agents are coming from. And we know how it's supposed to work, and we certainly don't want to make it a lengthy process for, you know, for the homeowners or contractors. We just want it to be done in, you know, timely fashion, if it can, unless there's an issue with wetlands or something else that arises, but we'll know that when Matt tells us.
yeah, I mean, and just think of it too from the homeowner's perspective. You know, if
Oh,
they,
it's costing them money.
it's costing them money, and then what if the interest rate goes up another 0.5 point? You know,
Right.
that's, your mortgage is gonna go up, and it's because it's tied up in this, you know, some process that's meaningless. You know, but
Right.
you know, should we table this, and then we can vote on it in the next meeting.
Okay. All right, so we'll put it on the next agenda or next meeting. All right, going back to emergency protocols. So, Matt, this comes back to you. So basically, we're here for you. If you need us, you know where to find us. We're not gonna hover over you.
Yep.
So I think we just need to, you know, sort of determine, what are the protocols gonna be should an emergency arise?
I think the best bet would be, you know, certainly if Liz, you know, something comes across, you know, the office as an emergency type thing, you know, she'll reach out to me and reach out to you as the board. You know, if I have an issue, you know, I would do in reverse. I'd let Liz know so she's aware, and then, you know, I have your number, so I would just shoot you a text. Hey, we need to talk right away. You know, let you know we need to have an emergency meeting, whatever the case may be. You know, it depends on what the situation is. You know, I think if anything out of the ordinary were to come up, you know, I would let you as the board and Liz for the office know, you know, is, you know, basically immediately. And then, you know, we just go from there. If it's something that requires a meeting, can it wait till the next, you know, regular meeting? Does it have to be an emergency meeting? You know, I like to say during mosquito season, you know, in the summer with triple West Nile virus, hopefully we're in a, you know, our little period of off years where it's not too bad, but you know, those are notifications we'll get from the state on a Friday afternoon of, hey, you know, your risk level just changed from, you know, moderate to high. You know, if we need to set any policies in place as a board right away, you know, regarding, you know, dusk to dawn curtailment of, you know, town fields or whatnot, you know, I would give you guys a call and say we need to have an emergency meeting right away to discuss the matter. You know, put some, you know, temporary policy in place. You know, and again, if it's something that can wait till the next monthly meeting, or, you know, at least that way you're aware of what's going on and you're not blindsided.
I mean, does it help you, Matt? I mean, because, you know, you can, I'm sure, and Tammy would agree, you can call us anytime. You know, you know, that's fine. I have no issue with that.
And that's perfect. Liz, do you have anything you want to add to the emergency part, protocols?
No, just, something that needs to be notified to the public immediately, like, but again, everything should come from Matt, like the bird flu. You know, reached out to Matt, he gave us something to put online, we put it online, and that was it.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
easy.
Oh, one other thing too is the outstanding complaints is to make sure that, you know, we're all notified when those come in, Liz. But I think that's obvious, right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's just one email that goes out to everybody, and obviously, you know, you can't reply to all, so just reply to me, and then everything gets brought to the next meeting.
Perfect. That works. All right, so concerns, comments? Anyone?
I think, you know, Liz and I have been working well together with what we were kind of tossed. You know, hopefully it'll continue to work, you know, as well or better. I'm very happy to have Cliff. That was a nice surprise. And I'm sure he'll do great once he gets settled in. So yeah, I think we'll be moving forward in a good direction.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we definitely, it was nice to have this meeting today because we could discuss everything and kind of put some thoughts together and move in a positive direction. So Matt, it's great to have you, Cliff, as well. So you have no idea how happy we are to actually have people to do the job. So, and you guys know your stuff. So it's great that we're going to be working with you. So we appreciate that.
Yes, very much.
Thank you.
And Tammy, you're the acting chair. Is that correct?
Correct, for now, yes.
So I know.
Yes. And sorry, I still really don't have a voice. So sorry you have to listen to me. That's why I'm not really saying too much. All right, so items not reasonably anticipated within 48 hours. Does anyone have anything?
Through the chair, just a reminder that everything that was discussed here today, you know, we'll work with Liz, if you could kind of put together as almost like a procedures at the next meeting. So you have it listed, and then you would refer to it, you know, that you vote on it, right? That goes to the health agent, that the office manager is the point person, you know, I'm just speaking in generalization here. So we all, it's in place, you understand it, there's no confusion.
Yeah, we can put it together,
Yeah.
Liz and I, and then we'll give it to you guys to review
Okay,
before it gets voted on.
perfect.
Make sure everything's in order.
Sounds great. Well, I think that's it. Unless anyone else has anything else,
Oh, man.
I think we're gonna adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, step down and second that. All in favor? Aye.
All right. Aye.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you,
Bye, all.
everyone. Bye.
It's nice to meet you, Cliff.
Nice to meet you, Cliff and
Nice to meet
Matt.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.